do I keep distracting myself? Bismillah. People came up to me asking me, Munadia, can you simplify Brexit? And I was like, yo, hun, I can't do that because I don't know what Brexit is myself. They're like, create a Brexit for dummies. I am that dummy. But let's do this together because it's a team effort. We shall come to a conclusion together. Brexit, exit of Britain, the UK from European Union, an economic alliance that we made in 1973. Dropping dates, look at me. Essentially why we joined the European Union in the first place, we're trying to create an economic alliance. Post World War II, Europe had come to shambles. Our economic system kind of deteriorated, but when things like industrialization, had the rise of capitalism and commerce and so forth, our economy started to grow. So initially when the EEC was created, the UK didn't want to join, but over time they saw benefits of joining. Free trade agreements, let me simplify. In order to move produce from one country to another, there's always charges. You know when you're buying your Yeezys here and then you have to pay customs, you have to pay more money for customs. This whole custom charge, think on a large scale, and then you realize each country has to pay a certain custom charge to each other. So by being part of the European Union, our custom charge decreases. If you see it like that, buying your Yeezys from within Europe becomes easier. But if we leave Europe now, your Yeezys become more expensive because the European Union's like, you left us, so we're going to charge you more. We're not boys like that anymore. It's going to affect us being able to make economic transactions on exports or imports, all of that jazz. The counter to that, why is it that we have to be within one community when it comes to economics? Why can't we be part of a global community? America isn't part of the European Union. They're not economically suffering, but it's different. The UK is this smidge on the map and America is this big smudge. We're a smidge and America's a smudge just because of geography, not because they're better than us because they have Trump. The other thing is the hard border. You know how you have Ireland and then you have Northern Ireland in the north? Obviously it takes my brain to catch up a little bit because obviously we're still part of the European Union and Ireland is part of the European Union. If we leave, because Ireland and Northern Ireland are still on the same bit of smidge, it's going to be a bit difficult for Northern Ireland to not participate within like transactions with the rest of Europe. It's not difficult, they still want to participate. The reality is most of us still want to stay in the European Union. So what a hard border basically means, hypothetically we leave and we don't have agreement. Northern Ireland still has a relationship with the European Union. Like if we're going to leave the European Union, we might as well leave them properly. It's like a bit of divorce, right? So we're leaving them, why are we going to leave our stuff at their house still? What happens when you leave Northern Ireland in their house means that it weakens our relationship with Northern Ireland. We've only recently just established that Northern Ireland is still part of the UK. Yeah, the big one. The reason why people voted for Brexit in the first place was the freedom of people. So basically immigration. If we leave the EU, it means that, let's call them what they are, the immigrants from the UK that went to other countries will have to come back, or the immigrants from other countries, the European countries that live in the UK will have to go back. And that obviously causes a sticky situation, especially when lots of people have been living here forever. I know lots of British people that have been living in Spain since like forever. Especially when people have developed like homes, livelihoods, this now becomes a community. Especially when kids are born in this country, immigration will have to be reduced by a substantial amount. People might be like, woohoo, yeah, less people taking our jobs, but let's be honest, right? You wouldn't be able to get that job in the first place because you don't have the qualifications. That's nobody's problem but your own. There are so many reasons as to why people want to immigrate to the UK, and it's not because of the glam lifestyle, because we are all stressed out here. It's because of our economy. Is because when they work here they'll get much more money for the same job that they would do here in comparison to where they live, or the area that they come from. And there are so many other reasons as well that I want people to take into account. Immigration, yeah, or the fact that my brown face is in this country is because lots of white faces during colonialism went to our countries, destroyed our infrastructure and took us back by over 200 years in regard to development, and now our countries are economically suffering. Another thing, we didn't really have these countries back in the days, so this establishment of, for example, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, when essentially I genuinely came from the Bengal region, means that you guys created borders for us that we didn't necessarily want. And then do you know what that resulted in? War. And do you know what war does? Kill people. And then do you think we want to be in those type of environments? No. And so the next time someone comes to me and is like, go back to your country, if you go back, tell your ancestors to fix my ish up. I would be living a lavish lifestyle in my country, back in Bangladesh, where I miss the sun, the heat, and the beautiful people. No. And this whole idea of underdevelopment, it'd be miles, light years ahead, right? See, this is what I mean. I start talking about one thing and I end up with colonization because it gets to myself. We're talking about Brexit. So on March the 29th, we are supposed to be leaving the European Union, but UK hasn't come to a deal. What are we going to do about that? Nobody knows. Not even our Prime Minister Theresa May, who was the ex-Home Secretary who did bits in terms of destroying people's lives. Cough, cough, Windrush. You want to know more about it? Google it. There's a lot of information online. Summary of all of it is that Theresa May tried to come up with like a brief outline of the deal. Withdrawal agreement is us leaving the European Union on certain conditions. So for example, in a divorce settlement, how much are they going to give us, how much are we going to give them, what we're going to take, what they're going to take, blah 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 blah, who's going to have the kids. Nobody wants them. I'm joking. Theresa May's agreement, what she's agreed upon, worst case scenario, she said, is a hard border for Ireland, which we established before. Nobody wants. The UK doesn't want because it's not in our economic interest. If we're going to leave, we've got to leave properly. 1, we don't want a hard border with Ireland. 2, want more trade agreements with the European Union. It costs us more on our Yeezys. Why do you buy Yeezys? I don't like Kanye West. Don't be a seller. 3, the freedom of people. I want to go across Europe and not have to pay extra money. The UK benefits people. Sorry, but have you been to Spain? Bruv, the weather is buff. I haven't been yet, but I'm going, inshallah. Trade agreements, money. Oh yeah, we're not getting enough money for our divorce, and that's unfortunate because we want more money to fund the NHS. Remember that 350 million billion whatever? Someone lied to somebody. We all knew that they were lying, but yeah, we're in this situation now. Essentially, I don't want to leave the European Union, but sometimes you just got to choose the parent that you love the most and stick with it.